That's 5 or 6? 6.
What's up? Well, this folder is full, man. Yes.
There's a test on 5 and 6.
Well, we got 2 of these. Oh, yeah. Well, the end of 5 and then chapter 6, yeah. And chapter 7. It's not for a while. I think the next test is in November. So you have questions from chapter 5 homework? No. Alright, I see this started on... Are they circled? I see that's... You got 2 chapter 5s here. Let's see. Here's chapter 6. Do you remember what sections your questions were from? Do you? Chapter 5. I don't see anything circled, or you guys just got through 5:1. Yes, yes. Looks like you're in 5:1, but I don't see anything circled or questions. I can't see anything. I'll see. So, any questions from homework stuff? Why are you guys so far away? Do I smell alright?
I do have a question.
Sure.
On the sixth one,
Sure.
on the very back, 84, convert each fraction to a percent.
6:1.
It's not a
What page is it?
Sorry. 6:1, number 84.
What page?
Gosh, it's the one that you gave me.
This is true. Okay, let me see. Alright, I see. Here we go.
56?
Number 80, what?
84.
84.
Just FYI, it's already in percentage, not in fraction. So what do you want to do?
Oh, that's weird.
I know.
That's easy.
So 85 over 100 is okay?
Sure. I guess they wanted either way. I think they mixed up the instructions for the previous one and that one. Yeah, so convert, whatever it is, convert it to the other one.
And then the other homework, 6.2 and 6.3, they're missing some numbers.
Where are we at?
6.2 and 6.3, that's FYI.
Missing numbers, how do you mean?
Like you said, start every 150 to 182, but it starts at 152.
Oh, and 6.3.
6.3 and 6.2, yes.
So tell me about 6.2.
6.2, it's missing 95, 96, 97. It starts at 98. I just don't want to make sure that you don't you're missing things.
Oh, I see. They must have added some. Yeah, since I made the homework page, they changed. They must have added some extra stuff to the end of the last section. So, yeah, you can still do. You start at 98, do every third one or whatever it is I said. Remember, if I say E50, that's every fifth one. Some of you guys are doing every third one and adding. More practice is good. But I'm sure you've all got stuff otherwise going on. So, and section 6.3, they're probably all off now since they added stuff to 6.1. But you just start at the first one and do every third one or every fifth one or whatever it is I said.
I came in a little bit this is about the question I had with 6.2, the numbers that got really mixed up in here for the...
Yeah, it looks like they added some to section 6.1 since I made the homework sheet. So then the numbers are going to be off a little bit for the other sections in chapter 6. Yeah, I didn't catch that. So just start, I guess 6.2 is the assignment start at 95?
It's missing 3 numbers.
Well, what's the assignment again?
It starts at 98.
No, but what's the assignment? What did I assign?
Oh, hold on. I gotta do that again.
Because I gave away all my homework sheets?
Every 5 and every 3. Every 5, 95 to 130, and then every...
Oh, okay, okay. So all you do is, since it started at 98, you go to 100,
Right.
right? So you would do 95. There is no 95. Then you would do 100. Oh, there is 100. You guys with me? Just go to the first one out of what I assigned to do.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Hey, sure. Okay.
6.1. Number 21. Percentage 9 over 9.
Number, which one? Sorry?
21. 6.1.
21. Yes, good. So they give you, this is 21 and 6.1. They give you this percentage. And they ask you to convert to a fraction. Right? Now, if you just say 9.5 over 100, that's not good enough. So personally, I would rather... What is 9.5%? It's 9.5. Then can you make that a decimal? Okay. And I know they didn't ask me to. I don't care. They want me to get it to a fraction. The easiest way to go to a fraction from some mixed percentage is to make it into a decimal, because then I can make a decimal a fraction very easy. All right, just remind you guys, how do I go from a percentage to a decimal? Two places, which way? Backwards. So it'll be 0.095. Now what is that going to be as a fraction? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Now real quick, if you went 9.5 out of 100, do you see why that's not acceptable? If I say make it a fraction, well, you gave me a decision. I don't know, a decifraction. It's no good. I need it to be purely a fraction, but you remember the shortcut. If you move this over once, you move this over once, hey, 95 over 1,000, same answer.
Is that okay? I multiplied mine by 10.
Same thing. If I multiply by 10, that's what I'm doing, yeah. So when I move the decimal, I'm multiplying or dividing by tens. Yes, cool.
I need the number 24. I was confused about it.
So 6 2/3. Let me show you a different way to do this. So percent means divide by... What's percent mean? Percent means divide by 100. Is that cool? That's what it means. Percent. Divide by 100. So this is really saying 6 2/3 divided by 100. Now, if I make this into a mixed number, take this from a mixed number into an improper fraction, I can then multiply by the reciprocal, right? You can see that. There's another way to do this. You don't have to do that way. The reason is because if you try to make this into a decimal, it's not going to stop ever. That kind of sucks a bit. Oh. So watch. How do I make this into an improper fraction? Yeah, 18 plus 2, 20. Times 1 over 100. And look at that. Isn't that nice? That's beautiful. Look. Do you see that? Because division means, percentage means out of 100, divided by 100. That's what it means. That's why I keep moving the decimal place back twice, because I divided by 100. It moves back twice. It gets smaller. So I take 6 2/3 divided by 100. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look at what's nice. What happens? 20 goes into 100 5 times.
5.
So you get... Is that you? Alright. Just ringing the church bells just because.
0.6666 is a harder method.
Oh yeah, it's a very difficult method. It's impossible. It's very difficult to change a repeating fraction, a repeating decimal into a fraction. That one's nice because 1/2 is just 0.5. So I can do that one this way. But what's 2/3? 2/3 is 0.6666666 forever. In the odd. So if you do 1 divided by 15, try it. What do you get when you do? Somebody have a calculator? Hopefully, a few of you have a calculator. How many of you guys have a calculator today? Oh, you're going to want to buddy up with somebody with a calculator because I didn't bring mine. I got a handout for you guys to do 1 divided by 15 for me.
0.0666.
Yeah. And wouldn't this be 6.666? So it'd be 0.0666666. Yeah, that's what that is. 1 divided by 15 is 0.0666666.
Yep. Plus, it's repeated, so you put that line over.
Exactly. Okay.
What's oh no, wait.
I just said okay. That's all I said. Anything else from homework stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question, not the homework, but like the test that we got back.
Yep.
Hold on. The test 2.
Sure.
The number 2, the third row. I didn't know what that is, like how to solve that at all. I was so confused.
Okay. You can come see me, or yeah. It's old. So right now you're working on correction, so I'm not going to do your correction for you. But what does it say? It's the one that's got the fill-in blank stuff, right?
But that's 4.0231.
4.0231. I don't remember giving it from. There it is. Okay, I'm with you. So that's the decimal. So you got to make it into a fraction, and you got to make it into a percentage. Fraction shouldn't be too bad. I mean, come on now. It's 4.
4 and then.
And what place is this in? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So it's 4 and 231 over.
Somebody's teaching me wrong. I was in math class. They said something else.
What did they say?
Something divide and then like multiply by something and then you get like 1,000.
So I'm going to a fraction, but now if you want to go to a percentage, how do I get to a percentage? I move the decimal where? I don't know, this might be what they were talking
The
about.
whole number, and they just took away the decimal and then they put the whole number over like 10,000.
That's, yes. But again, what place is this in? Tenths? Keep going. Tenths? Keep going. Hundredths? 10,000. So it's 4 and 231 10,000ths.
Okay, I'm just.
So it just sounds like they didn't really explain why that was true. We just got to see what place it's in. That's all.
So you put the 4 outside? Or you
Yeah, it's the whole part. It's like a mixed number. 4 and something.
Yeah, you told me to write the whole number on top of that, the 10,000.
Oh, that works sort of also, but not really. 40231 over, yeah, that'll work, but it's better to think of it as that's the whole number already. And means where the decimal goes. Some fractional part. That's an easier way to think about it. Sorry?
51, 6.1. And then number is 51.
0.18, that one? The one that says 0.18?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So guys, I desperately want you. All right, I'm going to work my way up to your question. All right. 12%. What does percent mean? Divided by 100. Percent. Per means over, like 5 miles per hour. 5 miles over an hour.
12%
So it'll be 12 over 100. And then what's that as a decimal?
which is 0.12.
Yeah, 0.10 hundredths, right? So look at the shortcut. I just took the decimal place and moved it back twice.
show the middle one?
You don't have to. No, that's why I spent so much time talking about just moving the decimal and why that works. It works because of this. I'm dividing by 100, so when I go from a percent to a decimal, my number is going to get smaller. Why? Because I'm actually doing this division by 100. And that's where I showed you this little, right? So if I'm going from a percent to a decimal, I move the decimal place that way. Yeah.
Can you say there's a 12 cents out of the dollar?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Percent. Right? That's where the word cent comes from. We stole it from Romans, from the Latin. Centum. Yeah. We stole a lot of things from Latin. But Latin's not around, it's all dead.
Decimal over to the 100 spot, right?
You move the decimal twice. So if my percentage was 0.042%,
Okay.
I want to be really careful. You don't move it to another spot, you move it twice.
Yeah.
So which way am I going to move it to go to a decimal?
You're gonna move it to the right. Well, this way.
No?
No, to go to a decimal?
That way.
Yeah, I got that way.
Because, again,
Gotta go
I
down.
desperately want you guys to realize this. If I have a percent symbol, that means I haven't divided by 100 yet, because that symbol means divide by 100. So if I take that symbol away, that means I'm dividing by 100. Should my number get smaller or bigger if I divide it by 100? If I divide by 100, will it get smaller or bigger? Smaller. So it's got to go that. So once, twice, so I'm going to add a 0, so it'll be 0.00042. I know the number is already small, but oh well, it has to get smaller to become a decimal. Yes? If you're going from a percent to a decimal, definitely. Obviously, if you're going from a decimal to a percent, it's got to move the other way. Or else everything would just get smaller and smaller and smaller forever. You know? That would kind of suck in a way. So if I have 0.071, how do I make that into a percentage?
Multiply by 100.
Yeah, once, twice, 7.1%.
So from a decimal to a percent, we're going this way.
Yes, that's the whole point. I really
Right, I got that wrote
Yeah.
down, but I must
from
have wrote it
from
wrong.
decimal to percent, you go that way. From
Right.
percent to decimal, you go that way.
You go that way.
Yes. I mean, that's a nice tool to remember which way to go. Just remember why it makes sense. If I'm writing the percent symbol, that means I'm not dividing by 100, so that number's going to get bigger. Because this is the number that's divided by 100. It's small. This is the one that's not divided by 100 yet. It's going to be a little bigger. It's going to be 100 times as big.
And then you move it over twice, and then you will put it. So
Then you put the percent symbol, because now you've converted it into a percentage. I like it. And really, just to make, what is this as a fraction? 71 over tenths, hundredths, thousands. You guys are making too many assumptions. Just because I have a percent symbol up there doesn't mean shit. You've got to count what place it's in. Don't see the percent and say everything's out of 100. That's not what that means. Percent means divide by 100. I don't know where it ends up after that. So it's in the thousands place. Now watch this. 7.1 out of 100, but remember, multiply the top by 10, multiply the bottom by 10, same thing. They represent the same number, right? I like it. So there's several different ways. There's this guy here. So just a quick little, if you write D and P, you just remember which way to go when. Or you remember that the percent number is always bigger than the decimal number, always. Because the poor little decimal number is the one that's actually been divided by 100. It's going to get smaller. Okay, maybe. Cool. Okay, anything else from homework stuff? I like this. This is good. So I desperately, the more you understand why things work the way they do, the less you have to memorize. I can't remember if I told you guys, if I memorized all the math that I'm able to do, I would have died a long time ago from brain overload, right? I just understand some of the basic principles, and then there's less for me to memorize. So if you think it's all memorization, that's not the way to go. You can't memorize enough to get you far enough in math. to get a degree. You got to start to realize it's more about understanding why things work the way they do. And there's less stuff to memorize.
And we moved the point over as far as however many numbers it is.
So it's why, from this decimal to percent or vice versa, I always move it how many times? Twice, because it's always based on 100. It's just the question is, which way do I go?
Which way is twice? So you move.
And just remember the percent number must always be bigger than the decimal number. See here? That number? That's the percent number. It's definitely bigger than that decimal number.
Right.
That decimal number is definitely smaller than 0.042, the percent number. So something else you can always kind of check to make sure you went the right way. Hopeful. Hopeful. I almost feel like I shouldn't record today because I got so many people in this one. When you want to go from a percent to a decimal. To the left, exactly. From a decimal to a percent, you move it to the right. From decimal to percent, move it to the right. Exactly. Just the reverse. Now, I got a question up here. If I want to go from a fraction to a decimal, like if I had 4/5, how do I take that to a decimal? What's a
Divide.
Yeah, I can just always divide, because that's what this means. 5 goes into 4.
Right?
5 goes into 4.
Yeah. 0.5 goes into 40 because you add a 0 because you can't push all 5 in that poor little 4, so you give yourself another space. Yeah, 0.8. Yeah, exactly. So 0.8. Or you could do times 2 times 2. This is 8/10, which is
80%.
0.8, which is 80%. Cool, I like it. But I'm just talking about taking it to a decimal right now. So yeah, if you can make the bottom some multiple of 10, then you can make it into a decimal. If you want to make it to a percent, you try to make the bottom become specifically 100, because that's what percentages are based on. Right? But if you can't do that, if you give you like 11 over 13, what do you do then?
I don't know.
How do you convert that into a decimal?
Divide.
Divide. Then you have to divide. I can't make 13 become 10 or 100 easy. So I just go ahead and divide. See what happens. Cool.
Wait. So why do you put times 2 to get 8?
Because there's 2 different ways to do this, and they both come out with the same answer. If the bottom can become 10 or 100 or 1,000, that's awesome. That's another way to get a decimal, because the decimals are just fractions with 10 or 100 or 1,000 on the bottom. So again,
What if it's like 3?
if it's something that you can't make into that, then you have to divide.
You have to do that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So to make it into like 10, 100, so more than 10. Yeah.
If you can, that's a great way to go. So I don't have to long divide the thing, right? I like it.
John,
Yes.
this question. So can you do like 33?
Where?
33.
Which section?
The first one, 6.1.
6.1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 All right. I got to figure out how to get this. So, I mean, this is it. This is it. This is how you go from decimal to percent, percent to decimal. So if they give me 115%, how do I change that into a decimal? Which way am I going to move it? I know it's twice, because it's based on 100, right? 2 zeros and 100. So I know it's twice. Which way am I going to move it?
Right. So
From percent to decimal? That way. Yeah. So you just, where is it currently? Where's the decimal at currently?
1.1%.
Right there. Understood to be right there, right? So then you move it back twice. And 115, 100% is how much of something?
All of it.
It's one thing, it's one whole thing. 100% is one whole thing. So 115% should be a little bit more than 1. Makes sense. It's a little more than 100%, which is a little more than 1 of something.
Well, you got that overline right there. Yeah.
Say again?
You have the, when you moved it over and changed it from percentage to a decimal, you put the over 100, right? Or,
Well, that's sort of the step that I'm not showing because I don't need to.
oh, okay.
But if you want to see it, yeah, 115% is 115 over 100. When you divide by 100, you just move the decimal back twice. Yeah.
Why is it twice?
Because percentages are based on what number? 100. And there's 2 zeros in 100. Yes. Okay. Good. So it's always twice. It's just the question of which direction. All right. Okay. All right. Anything else left over from homework? Okay. Let's get into 6.2. Sing it. The homework, what about it? Yes. Go over the homework, yeah. Told you. That's the reason why I signed it. Yeah. All right, guys. So in order to be able to do this next section, we're going to have to remember how to solve something like this. But this, I know there's a decimal in this problem, but it shouldn't be horrific. Good. Yeah. So divide by. How do I get the x by itself?
You have to look at the stuff. You divide by x.
Yeah. If it was 2x equals 34, what would you do?
2 divided
Divide by 2. Look how quick you guys said that. If it was 7x equals 34, what would you do? Divide by 7. So if it's blah x equals 34, what do I do? Divide by blah. Because I don't want that anymore. What's it attached with? What operation is it attached with? What operation is here? Multiplication. So how do I kill multiplication? Divide. What's happening?
Keep going.
Alright. If you have a question, ask it. So this goes away. The same way if you divide by 2, this goes away. It's just whatever number is there, you want to get rid of it. And you get rid of it using the opposite operation. So whoever has if you have a calculator.
200.
Yeah, 200. Cool. I like it. So, here's the kind of problem we're going to be working on. I know that some of you guys have maybe learned different ways to do this, but it's my opinion, and I think it's true that this is the best way to do this kind of problems, and I'll show you. So what kind of problem? I'm talking about this kind of problem. If they say 11% of what is, what you got, Jeff? All right. Let's say 38.5. I like it. Now let's see if we can convert this. If we can make this into this kind of an equation, I know how to solve this kind of an equation. This is really just one step away from math. This is currently English. It's just one step away from math. Because do you remember what of means? Multiplication. What's what? X. Because I don't know what it is, so we call it X. So I can do stuff with it. That's the magic of algebra. I got something I don't know, Let me give it a name so I'm still able to do stuff to this thing that I don't know. And how do I write 11%?
0 point.
Yeah, but, yeah, okay. 0.11.
Well, 11.
Of, you said, means times.
Times X.
I like it. So 11% of means multiply. What? I don't know, so put X. Is do you guys see that?
Yes.
Not just can you see the purple writing, but do you understand that this is one step away from English? 11% of means times what? I don't know.
So you change
Is-
change it into decimal?
Yeah, because the percentage is something that we made up. It's not, math doesn't really understand percentages because it's just something we made up as humans. Because I can understand 11% better than I can understand 0.11. But what does 11% represent? What number does it represent? 0.11. That's the real number. So 11% is something that we made up. We didn't make it up, but we made up what it means. 11 over 100 is 11%. But what's that number? What's the number that's behind 11%? 0.11. So how do I solve this equation?
Divide by 0.
Yeah, divide by 0.11. To see what I said. Good, I tried to make it come out nice. I was hoping I did that right in my head.